Well, let's take a look.
So Zepla expressed some degree of, frustration with
Did she get shit? Jeez, man.
people that are talking about like the Hogwarts Legacy thing, and people have like harassed the shit out of her for it. And we're probably not going to watch this whole thing. I'll just watch a bit of it, but
yeah,
I just want to look through it.
First, I want to talk about the
I saw this yesterday because she was actually trending on Twitter, if you can believe that. Let me see if she's still trending on Twitter. Is this still happening, or at least for me? No, it seems as though it's not. So, okay, it must have just been yesterday.
A little bit before I get into it, because I've seen some pretty wild shit in my chat. Haven't even got started.
Just ban him, man.
And I already see some pretty wild. Like, such a kind person. You always put others before yourself, and the whole time. Think about that. Think about that, first of all.
You know what'd be crazy is, like, if you're a streamer, right, and then your own mods are against you. I didn't even think about that, but that would really suck.
Genuinely think this is so stupid.
Oh, Mage T's in my stream. I know him.
It's not just stupid, though.
There's Free Jam, too. He's also in my stream.
It is dangerous. So, yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay, here we go.
First thing I would say is I definitely think that you can, in many cases, separate the art from the artist. Do you think that I should stop listening to Pink Floyd? Do you think that I should not support Spotify, which gives royalties to Roger Waters, who's in Pink Floyd, because he is a piece of shit?
I'll take her word for it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what she's talking about either. I'm assuming a dude who, like, is a pedophile. Like, that seems to be the MO for a lot of musicians.
Russian shill.
Oh.
He actively campaigns against Ukraine and, like, pro-invasion.
Why?
Jesus.
He is an absolute human garbage.
Is he?
But
is he, like, isn't he super old by now? Pink Floyd?
That's crazy.
He contributed to some of the best music that's ever been made.
Bro, like, I still listen to Kanye.
Yeah, I think of any musician talking, like, crazy shit, Kanye's up there.
Like,
top 3.
I'm not sorry. Yeah, same. Yeah, what are we talking about here?
Will I not like, does that make the music of Pink Floyd less? Should we just not listen to it anymore? Not support Spotify, not support any platform that he might get $1 of royalties from? No. No.
It doesn't so much as highlight a person, they just try to draw attention away from the trends.
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, it's not gonna
happen. You said every time you say you cannot resist the support of a transphobic fascist because every other thing you consume is also unethical, is honestly complete whataboutism and doesn't do much. So much highlight hypocrisy.
People use the word whataboutism whenever they use it as a defense whenever they're obvious in.
It's usually a defense when they have no argument and they know their argument is sound, so they can't argue back, so they use whataboutism.
Consistency gets called out. They're like, so you're mad about this, but what about the 10 other things that are just like this that you're not mad about that you're actively supporting? Like, oh, that's just whataboutism, guys. That's totally different. It's just like, listen, I read on Wikipedia that anytime that somebody engages in whataboutism, it's just that they're wrong. So you're wrong, and so that's all there is to it. I'm right. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about how I'm right again. Okay, let's get back on track.
Exactly. Like that, and it's like, they want to deflect it. Like, they see it as, from what I've seen at least, a lot of times when they use it as a case where it's like, oh, you're just trying to change the topic. You know what I mean? It's like, no, it's, you brought up the topic to begin with. You're saying this is for a political issue. Why is it only in this case?
Rather than just try and draw attention away from trans people's actual criticisms. I would not celebrate and I would not promote blind consumerism. I've heard some people say, oh, well, it's fine because, you know, it doesn't matter. We don't have to think about it. We don't have to think about what we pay for. We don't have to think about.
You don't, technically. You don't have to. No one's you shouldn't be forced to. If you want a product and you have the money for that product, that's really the biggest equation out of that. In that question is, do you have the money for that product? Like, to think after that, like, no one does that ever. On almost any other product they consume, they don't think, where does that money actually go? You know what I mean?
The choices that we make. I don't agree with that, actually. I think it's good that people are thinking about where their money goes, and
I think it's whatever. It doesn't matter. Because it really doesn't matter. Like, if... How do I explain this right? I think 99% of people don't, and your 1% doesn't fucking matter. It's not going to change anything. Okay, iPhones are like one of the biggest things, and they had to put nets on their building to stop people from killing themselves. So if that's not going to stop you from buying an iPhone, why would you just not buy this game?
they're asking themselves, you know,
I think it's good too. I think it's good that people think about what they spend their money on, and they
Oh yeah, they should think on what they spend the money on, but like where the money is going to go after that, I don't see how that
have
matters.
the autonomy to make ethical decisions on in the constraints that they choose for themselves.
I agree that people can do that. I don't see it as like a good or bad thing though. Like, if you want to do it, that's up to you, but I've never, like, I want to look at someone for lesser or more because they do it. If that makes sense.
I think the problem is always whenever you decide that your ethical constraints should be everybody else's, and then you shame people for not adhering to them.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, I personally don't care when people do that, where it's like, you know, I'm not going to, you know, they won't do something because their ethics or beliefs, for whatever reason, religion, politics, doesn't matter. If you don't want to do something, and you shouldn't be forced to do it. You know what I mean? Or buy things. You shouldn't be forced to buy something. But like Asmon just said, like, don't go freaking trying to stand up a soapbox and yell at everyone around you. Like the people who were like, went through their friends list, were like, oh, you played Hogwarts, I'm not going to be your friend anymore unless you refund it or something. It's freaking crazy.
This amount
like that to me would be an instant remove from friends or block.
of support going to then result in something that I would never want. Will $1 that I spend go to someone who will then give that to someone else, who will then give that to someone else who might use that on something that I don't want?
Here, let me do a description of why this is a waste of time. Why talking about this is a waste of time with these people. Okay. Let's look at... So imagine this is watch time, okay?
For me, I think it would be as simple as it's never going to be enough for these people. Like, they want to control your life, and you have to live their life by their morals and their ethics for you to be a human in their eyes. Like, to me, it's like that alone is not worth being close to these people, like having a relationship with a friend, partner, whatever it may be. Because to me, that's like an extremely dangerous thought, and that's how like Nazism can come about, is when you start dehumanizing people because of different beliefs. Like, you want to be a friend of someone who plays Hogwarts? Really? You think they hate trans people because they play Hogwarts? Like, it's fucking crazy.
Time watched.
I'm wondering where he's going with this.
So this is at the beginning of the video, so it would be 100% of people would be at the beginning of the video. Right? So this is like basically the time of the video. It's like 28 minutes, 1 minute, and this is 28 minutes. Okay? So 100% of people at the beginning of the video will be watching it because it's at the beginning of the video, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
So this is how And right here is where they're making their comments.
Yeah.
This is where they comment, okay? They're not going to watch the video because they don't need to watch the video because they know they're right. That's it. They're not going to listen to your counter argument. They're not going to hear what you're saying. You cannot use logic on them because they are not logical. Do not try to logic a person out of a position that they did not logic themselves into. It doesn't.
You can try, but if it fails, don't be surprised.
Doesn't work. They're immune to it.
If your answer to that is, yeah, I mean, that is your call to make. But in reality, I don't think that it is possible to have that level of like basically what you're telling people to do is that they need to check every dollar that you ever spent at any business, and then go check to see everybody who got that dollar at that business, and then go check to see what they voted for and what they're campaigning for and what they like and what they don't like. And we have to agree with everything that they
Get their
have
bank
ever
records and stuff.
That's insane. Yeah.
supported politically. We have to completely agree with all the political opinions of everybody that is involved with any kind of business.
Well, here's the reason why people like doing boycotts.
Makes them feel
because
special.
boycotts don't require effort.
Yep. I mean, it's not just because it requires no effort. Because even the ones who like actually go out and like walk around in a boycott, like it makes them feel special. Feels like they're the hero saving the day when they don't even really know what's happening.
That's why. It is so easy to sit on your ass and complain about something rather than actually work towards any sort of a meaningful change. And the only change that these people even try to make are changes on change.org.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. And I think the worst part of it is that they use the platform in the most aggressive way that's allowable. You know what I mean? So it's like, if they can, they will get people canceled. That is their goal. They want someone to suffer, even though that person may not have anything to do with it. Like, they don't think of the consequences. Like, if this game did not sell well at all, they don't think of all the devs that may have lost their jobs. You know what I mean? They don't care about that. They care about their idea more than people.
Promote. That's
including other trans people.
That's crazy.
It's slacktivism. It is.
First of all. Next thing I would say. Some people are out here saying, and by the way, this isn't even like Pink Floyd. This isn't even like Roger Waters with Pink Floyd. Because Roger Waters was directly involved with Pink Floyd. JK is not even involved in this game. This is not gonna, it wouldn't make or break her at all. If the game is a success, if the game is a flop, she's a billionaire. She doesn't give a shit.
That's a lot of money.
Yep.
This is a pre-existing, highly successful franchise.
Roger Waters do? I was some asshole.
And it's not going anywhere. She has a theme park.
I never really liked.
She has
I never really
merch. She
Pink
has
Floyd that
books.
much.
She
Sorry.
has a shitload of money.
I'm just never
already,
a big fan.
and it's not going to go anywhere. First of all, so keep all that in mind.
Yeah, and one of the things that really bothered me with this is like people like, oh, you're giving J.K. Rowling money. It's like, okay, and she's not doing lobbies against trans people that I'm aware of. Maybe someone has evidence saying otherwise, but I've not heard of anything of J.K. Rowling using her vast amount of wealth to pressure trans people. She just said things on Twitter or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, that'd be different if she was pouring all of her money into freaking illegalizing trans people's issues, like the surgeries and stuff like that, or having it where they can't be in the military or whatever it may be. Like, but she's not. She can. She has the money that she could definitely do that, but she hasn't. So that's, to me, like the biggest indicator when people's like, oh, she hates trans people. It's like, dude, she has enough money to make it really difficult for trans laws to pass. It's at least in the like states she's in. So I actually don't believe in that. I'm not saying I don't believe she like has an issue with their like trans claims, but from what I've read, and I could be wrong, it seems more she had her biggest issue is that like men becoming trans women or transitioning to women, she didn't like that they were claiming womanhood in a sense. That's my understanding. I could be wrong. That's what I don't think she hates trans in and of itself though. Like I don't think she has any problem with a woman transitioning to a man. She just has a problem when it's a man transition to a woman and then claiming that they now know how a woman's experience is. I could be wrong. Maybe she said other things. I have no idea. I don't look into it because I'm not a big Harry Potter fan to begin with. So I didn't really care, to be honest. And if I heard that J.K. Rowling was pouring everything she had into going against trans people, I probably might not buy the game at that point. Maybe. It's hard to say because I don't know. Because it's not a reality. It's not reality. So I'm not going to say I would or wouldn't. You know what I mean?
But she's not adept. She's not involved with creation of the game.
You didn't do
She
drugs,
might get
that's why?
some money.
All my friends that do drugs
From
love
it.
Pink Floyd.
I personally think it's negligible what she would get.
It wouldn't
But
change her
here's the other
lifestyle
thing.
in any way.
People then say, well, it's not about the money.
It's about
It's
sending
not
a
about the
message.
money. It's about her influence that she
Yeah.
will get. It's her influence that she will use, and then she will use this influence in unsavory ways, in ways that I don't like. Why? Because the argument is that
Plus
she
one,
believes that the success of her franchise equals endorsement of her political views. That is what people say that she thinks.
No, because Disney is a perfect example of that. Like, if anyone knows Disney's political views, not reviews, reviews, Disney is freaking massive. Like, who doesn't know freaking Disney, the icon? Maybe not the individual, but at least the IP. And yet, most people do not believe in the ideology that he believed in.
So that's something that we don't
I'm not
want.
going to say what it
I'll
is.
go on
but-
her Twitter
So
and I'll
that
show
is
you guys
why
what she actually
I-
said.
I don't know. That's kind of where the logic breaks down for me. Because it's like, if you don't want J.K. Rowling to think that support of her game equals an endorsement of her views, then why the fuck are you campaigning on that premise? If that's what you think, if you think that's horrible, that's
true.
it's insane for her to claim or to even believe that support of Harry Potter equals
no.
endorsement of her views.
You can't use logic. See, nobody, listen, hey, like, if they hear that, they're just like, oh, so you support it. Okay.
Yep.
All right, well, you're a piece of shit. Okay. Yep, there it is.
Then why the fuck are you out here saying, oh, you're playing that game, you must support JK? You're doing her work? Why are you doing that? Wouldn't it be better to instead not tie these two completely unrelated things together? Not treat this like it's fucking propaganda. It's not.
You know,
I tell
there seems to be a lot of things they seem to be pushing is that, and it's similar to that previous video with Atomic Heart. Like they're saying the game itself is propaganda for the issue. Like as if there's things in Harry Potter where you're hunting down trans people. It's fucking ridiculous.
tell you something else. I'll tell you something else.
Okay.
I was actually not going to play this game because I'm not a fan of J.K. Rowling. I do not like J.K. Rowling.
Oh, I
You
don't
wanna
care
know
about
what I
J.K.
think?
Rowling.
I don't even know what she said.
Yeah. I saw a little bit, only because it was just like everyone's talking about it. But
I have no idea. I don't care.
Doesn't matter.
I'm not
Yep.
voting for her. She's not running for office. What?
Sure.
I don't give a fuck. Who cares?
I just, for me, I felt like she had kind of soured the whole franchise, and I was just not really, I didn't really have any plans. I wasn't that interested.
I'll skip ahead a bit.
But after seeing the absolutely disgusting behavior by aunties, harassing and witch hunting some of the kindest streamers that I know, some of the kindest people that I know, I have seen so many people that I know. These are like incredibly compassionate, thoughtful people. They don't have a hateful bone in their body. I've seen these people get being witch hunted, literally witch hunted.
Yep.
And I've been spoiled. Like, I've read all these spoilers.
Yeah, I saw like some of the videos on it. It's really gross. Like what happened with some people.
And man, I saw all this shit going down, and I realized, like, I don't want to pass your purity test.
Yeah, exactly.
I would actually rather that the people who think that you can label somebody a bigot just because they bought a video game or they played a video game, I would like it if all those people would just find me and block me.
Yeah.
Don't touch grass.
That's the thing. You just block them.
That's actually I was exactly gonna say is just do Asmon's freaking tried and true method. Just keep blocking them, and eventually they will run out.
Like, yeah, just stop talking to them. Problem solved. They're gone.
Yeah.
I've seen this. I'm sure you've all seen it by now. This is the website.
Got taken down.
Have they streamed that wizard game?
It's good that it got taken
So
down.
you type in the streamer's name here, and it lets you know if you're good to go harass them or not.
Yeah.
Or to call them hateful or not.
I'm going to skip ahead to where she's talking about the actual tweets and stuff like that, okay? Yeah, we're going to move a little bit ahead because there's a lot to this.
Yeah.
There have been people posting this kind of pictures and saying that, oh, this is a Jewish caricature.
It's
And
just a
so
dude in a
that's why
suit.
the game is anti-Semitic. What the fuck? Do you realize how offensive that is? And how fucked up that is to say? And just unhinged to say that. I cannot believe that people are saying this shit, and then you're blaming JK. You think, oh no, it's the game.
What she's saying is they put the pieces together and then they blame it on somebody else. I will say the goblin thing is very common. I feel like a lot of goblins, there is like overlap between like Jewish stereotypes and like the way the goblins are depicted in modern fantasy.
In what way? I'm trying to think. They don't have yarmulkes. Other than their love for money and that they're business oriented, maybe? But that's also kind of a stereotype if you're conflating both those things towards Jewish people to begin with. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So if you walk the path, you can't blame other people that you're on that path of seeing Jewish people that way. You know what I mean? That's like, it's also stereotyping.
But I think that with as much nuance to it as there is, that it's really not a direct connection, and anybody who's trying...
Yeah, because it's like if you have a race that's all about gold, you're going to have them also about business, in a sense. I mean, technically you can say the same thing about dwarves, right? In a sense, like they're usually, maybe not on the business end, but they love, it's not even gold, well, sometimes gold, but they like diamonds and stuff, like jewels. Yeah. Maybe it's the whole like goblins liking gold and liking business, and that's why they say it as Jewish. I don't know.
Trying to draw that is usually coming into it with an agenda.
Here's another, it's like Alex Jones level of insanity.
Yeah.
Here's one. So here's from the video game. They say, oh, well, this goblin artifact is suspiciously like a shofar, a horn played during Jewish high holy days, and the bank running goblins played it to annoy witches and wizards. It's a literal horn. It's a fucking horn. Do you really?
Oh my god, this is like the left-wing version of QAnon. Holy fuck. Oh.
Yeah, because if you read it, horns like this were used by goblins during 1612 Goblin Rebellion to rally troops and generally annoy witches and wizards. Okay. Yeah, and that's all it was used for. Nothing to do with Jewish people.
God, this is crazy. Yeah, it's like they come out with like all these like really abstract comparisons.
Shofar.
And it's like,
Let me see
yeah,
what a
this is like
shofar
this
looks
one
like.
thing that happened in like 1612, and you know, it reminds you because if you take 1612 and like what are the two differences between
Doesn't
those
even
numbers?
look
It's
alike.
4. And then 4 of them, what's half of 4 is 2. World War II. Remember Hitler? Yep, see that? That's how easy it is. It's going right under your nose.
Realize how many cultures have had horns? Like every one.
Yeah.
Like
Oh
every
my
single
God.
culture has used a horn at some point because
It's
animals
absurd,
grow
yes.
fucking horns. It's easy to make
Yeah.
an instrument out of it. Like,
True.
this is fucking insane. And then people are like, oh, well, look, but the horn in the game had a wedge of gorgonzola cheese stuffed inside, and that means that it's also a Jewish reference, anti-Semitic. You know why?
Can we please also acknowledge that, and this is something that I really wish we could move away from, even though it's so entertaining, is making videos that will get hundreds of thousands of views about a tweet that has 86 likes.
It's not going anywhere.
Guys, there are nutballs out there. There are nutballs that think the earth is flat. There are more nutballs that think the earth is flat that think any of this stuff. Way more flat earthers than this. So just put that into perspective. It's like a flat earther test. Is this so stupid that less people believe in it than believe in the flat earth theory? And if the answer is yes, then it's probably not talking about. It's not worth talking about, excuse me.
I mean, it's still fun to talk about it, right?
Because the cheese block in it is not kosher.
And then also the best part about this, let's go ahead and
No
keep this
way
in
that's
mind.
coincidence.
So
33 likes.
so this is the how can you tell if there's a tweet that is being made by a person who is off their rocker? Number 1, the tweet is being made by a person with a private account. Number 2, replies have been disabled. And number 3, they're only replying to themselves. Oh, and number 4, anime profile picture. That's a little bit of a bonus, but you know, there you go.
That's fair.
They picked a specific
Especially the
type of cheese
only replying to yourself one.
because
Oh, it has more retweets than likes too. Or a very high ratio.
this is y'all. This is actually Alex Jones levels of batshit.
No, it's not, because even Alex Jones said QAnon was stupid. And these people are just as dumb as that. It's actually even dumber than Alex Jones. We're going to go to the last 3 minutes of it.
They have literal.
Yeah.
They are actively committing genocide. I have lost everything because of Russia.
Are they actively committing genocide? I mean, they're in the act of it, but I don't think they're actively doing it, if that makes sense. I'm not like saying like what Russia's doing good. Like, absolutely not. What I'm saying though is if they were really wanting to go all out, Ukraine would not even be a thing right now. That's how much firepower Russia can bring to bear. Ukraine would be literally wiped off the place like of Earth, and no one would have been able to escape. It would have been the same, like, imagine if America had a country the size of Ukraine next to it, and all of a sudden we just wanted to go to war with them. It would not be that country just would not exist if it was just about genocide. You know what I mean? Like that's, I don't know. Like, I don't agree with it. Not that I'm agreeing with like Russia being like what they did is good, but I don't agree that to say that that's all it was about was genocide. Because if it was, no one would have been able to get out. The firepower Russia can bring to bear, there would have been nothing Ukraine would have been able to do.
So, everybody that plays that game, you're now my enemy. Everybody who plays that game, you're now a fascist.
She's talking about atomic heart.
Is that what we're going to be doing? No.
Oh, yeah.
No. We're not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. I don't like this train of thought. I don't like the narrative. I don't like this culture war bullshit. If you want to boycott something because you don't like something about it, go right ahead. I won't play Atomic Heart because I don't want to. But if I did, it wouldn't change anything. It wouldn't mean that suddenly I'm pro-Russia.
Yeah.
This is just not a road this is not a road we should go down. Earlier in the chat, I saw somebody say, I love the game, but it sucks that my friends called me a Nazi sympathizer for buying it.
Wow.
What kind of a friend calls you that?
Also, dude, it's a German game. Like, Nazi is Germany, not Russian. Like, what? In J.K. Rowling, like, it has nothing to do with Nazis.
Bro, if somebody called me that, I'd be like, okay, all right, well, okay, I'm gonna go somewhere else now. That's weird.
That person's crazy,
They're
man.
not your friends.
Nope.
Your friends know you. The relationships that we have with each other are based on mutual understanding, love, and trust. This is what keeps our communities together. If you're ready to throw all that out the window, call someone a fascist, call someone a Nazi, call someone a bigot, tell them that they're hateful. That doesn't line up with anything that you know in your own experience, you are being brainwashed. If you go out there and say,
I think it's a bold claim to assume that these people have friends that they could call Nazis, because it would be predicated on the assumption that they have friends.
Yeah, they have.
Which is not true.
I think at the most, they have people in their friends list. That doesn't make them an actual friend.
That yes,
so this is a hypothetical.
Everybody who plays the game endorses her views. You're working against yourself.
It's bold to assume they have a brain.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
That one was good.
I've heard people say, yeah, well, the problem is it's not that she will get some money, it's the fact that she will get some influence. And she believes that support of the game equals endorsement of her political views. She thinks that it means everybody agrees with her. So we're going to make sure that only people who agree with her, or the people that we say agree with her, are going to be the ones playing the game. Now, how much sense does that make? None. Think of all the good these people could accomplish if they channel all the time and energy witch hunting into actual good.
They're not going to accomplish any good, because the good that they can accomplish would require having an IQ above the room temperature.
And actually doing something instead of just sitting and like on their keyboard. They want to be keyboard warriors, not actual like volunteers. You know what I mean? Like, they're not out there like handing out soup to poor people or the homeless. Like, they're in their comfy, air-conditioned home, room, whatever, on a keyboard, on a computer that probably costs more than what... There's a lot of poor people who do not have the extra funds to even get a computer. Like, they're just trying to be a keyboard warrior in their comfy life. Like, they're not actual good people.
And they don't have that. They can't accomplish anything good because they're too stupid to do that. So,
I mean, you can be stupid and do good. You just got to get up and actually do good things. You being a keyboard warrior does not make you a good person.
What they're reduced down to is complaining and getting mad about people for playing a video game. Because it's easy, it's accessible, it requires no effort, and it can make them feel good.
Exactly.
There's never going to be a point where they're going to be like, okay, I'm going to move on and actually like do something productive, because they don't have the capacity to do that.
Yep. That and they actually don't care enough to do it.
Don't get mad at like a dog for not being able to talk. No, you don't get mad at your cat because whenever you say get off the table, it doesn't get off the table. Bro, it just doesn't know. It's a fucking cat. But who gives a shit? You just have to pick the cat up and put it on the ground.
Yeah.
Causes. Or how about actual causes for
It's not the cat's fault.
for the betterment of trans people? I never hear about any of this shit.
Because it takes work.
Didn't Tennessee just pass a ban on people in drag even being outside? I haven't
Didn't
heard a
even know
peep
about
about that.
How could you? Why would you hear anything about that? These people probably don't even know where Tennessee is on a map. Why would they give a shit?
Unless they live there or around it, yeah.
They have no idea. That they don't care about that. And also, if they want to solve that, they have to call people. They have to, like, contact representatives. They have to read the bill. Well, that's already off the table. They're not even going to read the bill. So what are we thinking about? It's not going to happen.
If people would expend even a fraction of the energy that they've expended over harassing people for a video game, instead on bringing awareness to genuinely damaging stuff that's affecting transgender people, maybe we'd really be getting somewhere. J.K. Rowling isn't even American. How the fuck is she gonna...
I didn't even know that. I had no idea. Yeah, she's British? That's crazy.
like have influence over what people are voting on in Tennessee or in Kansas or in Maryland.
I literally had no idea. Why would I care?
Get a grip.
Get a grip. There it is. So basically, all of this was started because Zepla went on Twitter and talked about basically that these people don't have any real problems or some, effective version. I don't want to misquote her, but she compared like their problems to her having to like leave her country in Ukraine. And
so I just took a quick look on that ban in Tennessee, and obviously not a lot of research done. Literally like 2-3 minutes. And from what I see, it's not banning being able to dress up in drag. It's banning sexual, like being like the sexual part about being in drag. Like like the high heels, like the short skirts and stuff like that. And it's only where kids can be present. Like there's still like places you can go where it has drag shows and you can still dress in drag like in public. It's just it can't be too sexualized in a way. I don't know if I agree with it or don't disagree with it, but it's not what Zepla was just talking about, where it was just a ban on cross-dressing like as a whole. I think that is fine for a state to legislate, like if you don't want people dressing up too sexily, where kids can be around. It's up to you if you want to vote those kind of people into your state office. That's fine. Like I think it's fair. You voted them in, you get what you get. You don't like it, move. Because it's not a federal law, state law. So, but no, let me go back because I was reading on that, I didn't really pay attention here. The last few things.
Yeah, she's British. That's crazy. It's not going to happen. Well, that's already off the table. They're not even going to read the bill.
1 second.
Would you hear anything about that? These people probably don't even know where Tennessee is on a map.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Why would they give a shit? They have no idea. That they don't care about that. And also, if they want to solve that, they have to call people. They have to, like, contact representatives. They have to read the bill. Well, that's
exactly.
That's already off the table. They're not even going to read the bill. So what are we thinking about? It's not going to happen.
Oh, and when it comes to the bill, like with the whole cross-dressing like sexily in public, I think that should be like a whole range. Like it shouldn't just be cross-dressers. It should be everyone. male, female, doesn't matter. Like if you're saying that you don't want people dressing up too provocatively in public, like I said, I do think that's up to the person you're putting in, office. They want to go down that route. But like it should be across the board. It shouldn't be targeted at trans people. I think that's only fair.
If people would expend even a fraction of the energy that they've expended over harassing people for a video game, instead on bringing awareness to genuinely damaging stuff that's affecting transgender people, maybe we'd really be getting somewhere. J.K. Rowling isn't even American. How the fuck is she gonna...
I didn't even know that.
No? What?
I had no idea.
European? UK? Something like that? I don't know. I just know not American.
Yeah, she's British? That's crazy.
Like have influence over what people are voting on in Tennessee or in Kansas or in Maryland.
I literally had no idea. Why would I care?
Get a grip.
Get a grip. There it is. So basically, all of this was started because Zepla went on Twitter and talked about basically that these people don't have any real problems or some, effective version. I don't want to misquote her, but she compared like their problems to her having to like leave her country in Ukraine and how vitriolic people were being, which against something that is proportionally like much less. Now, the one thing that is like a fucking trigger for any of these online perpetual victims is to tell them that the way they feel doesn't matter, or to contextualize it around real life. So like, for example, if this person is like, oh, I'm being killed, people are trying to kill me on Twitter, and then somebody comes and says, that's crazy because somebody tried to kill me in real life, that's going to upset them because it reminds them that everything that they're doing doesn't matter.
Yeah, it really paints the picture of their issue being trivial compared to actual issues, which is not what they want. Because they want to be a victim. They want to have real issues, but they don't have any.
So it very upset a lot of people on Twitter. They were very angry about this. They were pissed off. Obviously, we totally support Zepla. This is ridiculous that she's even getting any hate for this whatsoever. And I will say that, I forgot, I think it's Socrates. If you stare into the abyss long enough, the abyss will stare back into you. Don't waste your time talking to these people, trying to argue with them, win
never
them
win
over, or anything like that. Nietzsche, I thought it was...
Because even worst case scenario, like, not worst case, best case, you manage to convince them, that's only until the next Twitter drama comes up. And it may affect the next game that you want to be into. Like this case, Atomic Heart. So from Hogwarts, them realizing they're boycotting didn't do jack shit other than making a bunch of people feel bad who are actually good people. So now they're moving on to Atomic Heart.
Was it Nietzsche or was it Socrates? It was one of the two. I forgot which one. Anyway, one way or another, if you spend all of your time fighting and arguing with people, it was Einstein? Oh, that's when everybody clapped. Yeah, I forgot. If you spend all your time arguing with these people, all you're going to be doing is getting mad. That's it. So why waste your time doing that? Why worry about it? I think that every single time that you try to justify yourself or you try to argue against somebody else that has an opinion that you think is ridiculous, you actually, you embolden their opinion. You make their opinion like bigger than what it is because it really just doesn't matter that much.
It's also why, actually, this was explained to me by a special needs teacher, because they had me helping a special needs class once, way back in the day, I think middle school. And the teacher told me, he's like, well, try not to give attention if they're like really, really being wild. He says, like, you giving them attention is giving them validation of their action, and they're just going to do it more and more and more. So he's like, just ignore them when they're getting really wild, and then stop them if they actually get violent, kind of thing. So I think that kind of is the like similar reason kind of thing, and that you giving it attention to it emboldens them to do it even more.
Yeah, don't cast your pearls before swine. Yeah, they have no power over you. Exactly. And like my best advice to anybody who is dealing with this kind of stuff, never argue with an idiot. They'll bring you down to their level and beat you with experience. Exactly. Seems crazy to me.
Yeah, I've heard that
supporters
saying.
born into a society
It's
far more
true.
tolerant. Decades ago, privileges blinds them. How good they have it. Well, I don't know what the problems and like the lifestyle of somebody who's trans is. I'm not trans. I know a handful of people that are, but like I'm not an expert into this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not going to claim to be. I have no idea. It's just like I'm a guy, and you know, that's about it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, to me, I think the more that you spend, the more time you spend arguing with people and like trying to fight with them, the more it just makes them want to fight and complain about you. Yeah, it feeds them. And the best thing to do is to laugh at them, which is usually what I do, because I think it's funny, it's entertaining, but it's to laugh at them and just ignore them and blow them off.
Yep.
That's it. That's the only way, because that
It's the best
there's
way.
nothing they can do about that. They can't argue. Yeah, like nothing. They just have to deal with it. Let's see here. When can we expect the true story of Cataclysm? Well, soon, man. It's going to be very soon. Like everyone just explained science. Well, I don't know what she said. And I don't care. I don't care what a writer for a children's book says about sexuality.
I don't know. Children's book would be the right word. I think young adults would be much more apt because Harry Potter is not exactly a children's book. At least most of the people I know who were into Harry Potter weren't like they were teenagers, um, old and young. Not old and young, but like 13 to like 20 plus. You know what I mean? Like I don't know a lot of
Why the fuck would I care about
under
that?
10-year-old people who were into Harry Potter.
I don't want to hear about this. This is why am I wasting my time listening to her? She's not a doctor. She's not a scientist. What the fuck does she know? Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, why does this even matter? It's like people, like celebrities going on and talking about how bad, it's like some political thing is. Like, what the fuck do you know? The only thing you did, you pretended to be a fucking politician 20 years.
That, and it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like, whether J.K. Rowling said something that was true or not true, it really does not matter. Because she's not running for office. She's not trying to do rallies for political things. You know what I mean? That I know of. I could be wrong. I just never heard of it. So it really does not matter. It's just her own personal opinion on something. So if you don't like it, disagree with it. That's about it. You know what I mean? Now, if she was actually actively doing things, then yeah, you should try to boycott her in a sense, but that's only if they're actively doing things. Like with Blizzard. Like if they weren't doing anything with their whole like controversy, like I wouldn't have played Dragonflight. Period. Like if everything came out and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're still going to keep doing the same thing. We're going to do the pub crawls." Like it's just what we do. Like I wouldn't care how good Dragonflight is. I'm not going to play it. But that doesn't change anything. Like if a developer there like has a bad opinion, like it doesn't matter to me because they're not actively doing anything with that opinion.
Years ago in a movie. You don't know anything.
Yeah.
Mm. Like
Especially
yeah, I mean, it's
all the
not even
actors
worth
and
considering
celebrities during
her
COVID,
opinion.
man.
Yeah, let's see here. What Bill Gates talking about vaccines? I think
It's the same thing. He's not a doctor.
that is less of the case with Bill Gates because Bill Gates
Why?
invests a lot of money and time into doing things that are associated with that. Like
I disagree. Just because you invest time and money, like, with it, does not make you an expert in it. You know what I mean? You may know experts, in which case that's fine if they want to talk about it, or if he wants to say, "Oh, this is what this doctor had told me." I also think that's fine. You know what I mean? Because he probably has a lot of people in that field who are actual experts. So, I mean, his opinion is more justified, but at the same time, it would, to me at least, be better if he actually mentioned where they came from.
he's more involved with that. I don't want to make this a vaccine debate, But can we please admit that a person that has a massive foundation that works with vaccines and dealing with them and administering healthcare is different than a writer who
Well, he
is just
doesn't
commenting on
administer
something that
anything.
is scientific?
He
Like, can we acknowledge that like there is a much larger
financially provides
disconnect
for
between
it.
the two things with J.K. Rowling versus Bill Gates? To make up tremendously more disconnected. Yeah, okay.
It's a pretty big
So
one,
good.
but not tremendous, I would say. It'd be tremendous if Bill Gates was an actual doctor. All right, that was Zepla, man. That's the more I hear about like with the crap with Hogwarts, it's like, dude, you're painting trans people in a bad light. Like these are the like you're painting it as like there are these irrational weirdos who are like you can't buy a game because like the author of the original IP said something that made me upset. You know what I mean? Like it's just ridiculous.